The split jerk. It is the most efficient way to get the most weight from your shoulders to overhead. It's an oddly technical lift and a very underrated lift at the same time. I think in the sport of weightlifting, or Olympic weightlifting as many call it, we think a lot about leg strength. If you kind of hit a wall, you think, okay, just get stronger legs, stronger pull. But a lot of people with very strong legs kind of mess up the split jerk. And I think this progression that I want to give you guys, I want to give you a surefire way to develop these techniques before you get to the point where you're like, oh, I can stand up any weight, I just can't get it overhead without, bobbling in my shoulders or having weird positions with my feet. Sometimes people call this lift the championship lift. You might have the clean of the century. You might have your best clean you've ever had. But if you can't get it overhead, it's meaningless. So hopefully, after watching this, you'll be much more confident in your split jerk. Okay, 3 keys in the split jerk. It's the distribution of pressure between the right and left foot because they are not going to be in line anymore. Another key, super important, is not letting your front knee travel in front of your front toe. Okay, keeping it in line with your heel or maybe even behind your heel. And then key number 3 is having your back foot land before your front foot. So these next drills, we're not even going to focus on the barbell at all. We're just going to focus on what the feet do. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is just stand hips right underneath us. We're going to stand up tall like this. All I'm going to do is take whichever foot I determine I want to put back. And I guess I might want to talk about this a little bit. You have to determine which foot you want forward. For me, it's the right. There are plenty of people that put their left forward. That feels really weird for me. So it might be as easy as which one feels better. Okay? There's some tests you can do. I can have someone push you from behind and which foot do you catch yourself with. But honestly, just try one and you'll figure it out from there. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, since the left foot is my back foot, could be the right for you, we're gonna take it and just put our toe back behind us. We're not bending this front knee at all. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feel a stretch in my psoas right here, right in the front. And I'm just on my toe right there. That's it. Right here, stretch right on the toe. Okay? From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this front heel and I'm gonna put it a few inches in front of my toe. Just like that. Okay? Here, we're stretched, and a few inches in front of that front toe. It's that simple. That's usually going to be your point here. Now, we can get really wide like this. For some people, that might work. But you got to understand, the wider I get like this, the less strong I am. These points are now away from my center mass, away from supporting the bar. So while we don't want to be in line like this, we certainly don't want to be out wide like this. Again, the way that I coach is find what's comfortable, but have these key concepts. Do not miss these key concepts, okay? Let's move on. So now we have here, we're here, okay? And what we're gonna do is the way that we recover every rep is bring the front foot back. Just, it doesn't have to go back to where it was before. It just has to move back a little bit. And what we're doing is we're pulling our hips up. Here, and now we're together. That's called the recovery, and it has to happen like that. It has to happen front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, okay? So now we have that back front. Let's try to do it with a little bit more pace. Say it like this pace. 1, 2, like that, okay? Back, front, front, back. Again, clap, clap, just like that. Boom, 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 okay? Can we do it a little bit faster? Maybe like this, boom, boom. 1, 2. Oh, we're getting close now. Now, if you notice, guys, I'm not jumping to this position. Okay? I'm establishing that back foot first. And what you'll see with the split jerk It's really weird timing, man. These guys, when they do it with big weights, they're not jumping and catching. They're not going like that. They're kind of just sliding that back foot back, okay? So all I'm doing is picking up that pace, and I'm almost just dropping into the position. That's when you know you've got the footwork down, where you don't have to think, you can just, there. Now, if you can do that here, you're pretty much there, okay? That's very tough. It's very challenging. But I want you guys to take note of my finalized position. Where is my knee? It is behind my heel. It can get in line with my heel, but if it starts to go forward, man, this is where you get into trouble. It is key that it's back here. Why? Because we want to be equal pushing this way as we are pushing this way. So we have this tension driving us into the center like this, okay? I want to nerd out for you guys just a little bit. Now, if I don't land with my back foot first and I land maybe both at the same time, I run the risk of not being able to stop the bar the moment that both of my feet hit the ground, okay? So I'll land, or let's say I land both feet at the same time, like that. The bar might travel down and some weird stuff might happen. By anchoring our back foot, when my front foot hits, I'm stopped. I'm ready to fight, right? So my back foot's down, bar's still kind of going, like it's like right about to land, boom, that shit's stopped. You see the difference there? That's why this is so valuable. I learned this from a singular video that I can think of. It was 2015 Worlds in Houston. Artem Okulov is doing 150 kilo clean and jerks. And you can see his tempo and timing. It was as if he wasn't jumping. There was no jump. It was a shove slide. He was right here, boom, boom. For me, that changed everything. And so many times people say, jump and catch. And that's when you start to get in trouble a little bit. So now we're going to dive into the front rack position. And for some of you, this is going to be very difficult. But this is one of those things where it's like, you just got to keep working through it and your mobility will get better. It's a lot like the deep squat. You might get down on the deep squat, you're feeling like, there's no way I'll get this. I promise you, the muscles start to loosen up and you start to hit that spot. You start getting reps and you're good. The same thing happens here in the front rack. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the bar. Again, for future reference, we'll use a hook grip when it's down here because we're cleaning. We don't really need a hook grip right now. I like to just grip so like I can swipe my thumbs on my thighs. That's probably wide enough for me. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get it right here in that front rack, and it's gonna be tough for some of you. Sometimes it's tough for me, but I've gotten used to it. The keys in the front rack. The bar must always be above the clavicle. Always, always, always. We're gonna try keep those elbows forward, okay? And we're gonna try and keep our hands on the bar instead of letting it roll like this, okay? Hands on the bar. Just like this. And there's a trick that we can use to get into this position, okay? And it's very simple. You start with the bar overhead, directly in line with the ears, straight up and down, okay? Everything is stacked. Heels, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists, everything is stacked. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep the bar kind of low here. We're not gonna let it rotate back like this, kind of low. What I want to do is find that spot above the clavicle while bringing the elbows forward. Okay? What ends up happening with people sometimes is, oh, we'll bring the elbows forward. Bar ends up down here. Or, oh, we'll go above the clavicle and the elbows won't be forward. Okay? Or everything will be right, but we'll roll into the fingertips. So this is where we just keep working trying to get that position. Oh, yeah. Whew. Just like that, okay? Again, this is gonna be one of those things, guys, that you just gotta keep working on over time. You can do the split jerk, you can do the cleans with the hands rolled like this, but it is something worthwhile working on. Okay, one of my favorite and most underrated, underutilized cue is chin up, okay? What you're gonna hear or maybe see is people think chin back, because you wanna get your chin out of the way so you don't smack it. I've done it, I've seen people do it, and I'm tired of seeing it. I wanna see it stop. What will happen is people get a little bit tired and they pack their neck back like this so that they can get the bar overhead. And what they're doing is they're actually ruining their posture. So if we keep our elbows forward and we pull our neck up, and something I think about is I'll think of like picking a spot on the wall kind of right in line with my eyes, and I'll maybe look down my nose at that spot. I'm right here. I'm not here, okay, but I'm right here. And this is a tough position. When you feel that weight pulling you down, everything in your body is gonna want you to go here, here and here. Lift your chin, get tall, fight against that weight, just like this. Now we can dip and drive and go into the next portion. Key components in the dip and drive for the jerk are not dipping too low, not dipping too high. That's one, okay? The other one is making sure that the drive is faster and much more important than the dip. We'll talk about the depth first. So I think it's gonna be natural. You're gonna wanna keep your chest up as much as possible. So what you're gonna think, you might think, throw the knees forward. This isn't as strong of a position as you may think. And what we end up seeing here is people's hips start kind of floating forward like that. So I kind of like to think, yeah, we don't wanna drop the hips back because then the bar's gonna come off, but we don't wanna just go like this, right? We have to break at the hips a little bit, right here. So this is about my dip, right there. It's a little bit above a quarter squat, okay? And the pace at which I do this, I'm gonna start really slow. That's my pace. Nice and slow. So now I can change speed on the drive, right? I can go control, go. See that? Control, go. Now the key here is that change of tempo. And the reason why I keep saying it's a key is because I see people continuously not do it. That is because in this sport of weightlifting, every part of you wants to get under the bar, wants to drop, because this thing is heavy as hell. So people are thinking, okay, drop fast, and then I just don't really focus on the drive, and then get underneath the bar. If we think drive only, drive, and we focus less on the speed on the dip, we're gonna find more success. The bar's pushing down on you. You just got done with a clean. You're gonna think, just go fast, okay? The problem is if you dip really fast, you're adding weight to that bar. You're separating yourself away from that bar. That bar's gonna crash down on you, and now you have to push against that. Screw that. Control the bar, control the dip, and explode on the drive. Now, as we drive, we're now going to add in our feet, okay? So it's gonna look like this. Nice and slow, control. And I'm putting my hands overhead, but all of that stuff that I did in that footwork drills, I'm adding it now, okay? With the bar over our head, we're not going to bring our hands down. Why? Because we need to recover. We need to recover, okay? Dip, drive, recover, recover, okay? Control that dip, boom, 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 okay? Let's add in the bar now, right here. Control the dip. Look, chin up. I bet you forgot that already. You want it to be right here. Chin up, look down at the nose at the front of the wall. There we go, this is a great position. Nice and control. Control, control. Keep that bar overhead, then bring it down. Control, go. Some things you can focus on, guys. Pausing in the dip. Pausing in the catch. Recovering and pausing in the recovery. So there you have it. That is the split jerk. It is probably one of the most important lifts because if you don't, you can have the best clean ever, and if you can't finish the jerk, it's a no lift. That clean goes to shit, doesn't mean anything. So practice this, practice the footwork, then get the bar in your hands, practice the front rack, and get yourself a clean and jerk PR. Subscribe, please subscribe so you guys can catch the rest of this instructional. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.